Hey, what is going on, everybody? Boilon here, back for another video on Raid Shadow Legends. And what I want to talk to you guys in today's video is I want to talk about summoning shards. I want to talk about FOMO, and I want to talk about how new players, mid-game players, and late-game players kind of have different strategies when it comes to using their shards. I want to talk to you about how you should maybe plan yours out a little bit better and how you can get ahead with other events, such as a fusion event, which there's going to be one probably within a week or so, honestly, probably next week even. That's going to be another one coming for February. But, these fusion events come around once a month, and they're not only the only places or times that you can use shards. There are lots of FOMO traps out there that Plarium wants you to use your shards for a variety of different reasons, whether or not it's a clan versus clan event where they have progressive chance summons where they try to trap you with, or a hero's path event, or other ones that reward you for pulling for shards. There is lots of reasons that they try to give you to do that. But I want to talk about random shard summons and more guaranteed usages of your shards. And what I mean by that is, I mean, if you save your shards for the right appropriate time, you can guarantee yourself a newer champion that way, whether it's a fusion event or whether or not it's a special, like kind of with Assassin's Creed, we're expecting that there's going to be some special events for those champions as well. But if you go and blow all your shards just randomly, that some people do, you're never going to get these. So I want to talk about the best strategies that you can do to kind of maybe do a little bit better in Raid Shadow Legends. Now, before we get started with the rest of the video, though, I do want to remind people that if you haven't started playing Raid yet, what are you waiting for? Download using the QR code in the top right hand of the screen to get Narma the Returned absolutely free, as well as these three epics, Allure, Tagore, and Ruella at accounts level 10, 20, and 30. And also, don't forget that you can also get this Void Legendary Support Champion. Absolutely amazing. Helps everyone at the start of their account, actually, for a long time. Use the promo code Desert Queen to get to Hanorak. Make sure you do this within the first 48 hours of a brand new account. Okay, so before we go, people are gonna see my shards and be like, "Oh, Boilon, you got so many shards." Like, yeah, I'm not an end game player, but I guess as far as collecting shards go, I am. I'm doing the maximum thing that I can do to get shards. We'll kind of go over that as well. But don't discount mystery shards. This is the number one tip thing that I want to tell people, because if you save enough of these, you can actually use them to fully complete a fusion event to get yourself a brand new legendary. I'm not even lying. Like, this helps tremendously if you have in the thousands range, but it's actually not that difficult to get there, if you save. The one main important point that I want to point out is that when it comes to doing your dailies, there is this daily objective here: summon 3 champions. That's all you want to do. Don't do any more than 3. So when you're doing your dailies, summon 3 mystery shards, and that's it. Some people think that you need to summon mystery shards to get greens, right? To get green champions, to then do your food grinding, right? And things like that. You do not need to do that. Now, this might be harder for some people in the early game, but I'm telling you, what I do is if I'm ever low on greens, I just buy them from the shop. I know this might sound counterintuitive for some people. They range from 39,000 silver to 49,000 silver, but I just buy these because then you don't need to summon these mystery shards, and they actually have much more value than what a lot of people think that they do, right? In like a month and a half, I was able to save up 4,000 mystery shards. And yes, that's 45 days. That's a fair bit of time, but it's also enough, almost enough, for me to fully complete a monthly event just with these shards. So I really wanted to just do this right out of the gate. Don't discount mystery shards. It's a very kind of noob thing, I would say, to go and blow your mystery shards. A lot of people, and hey, maybe even some other people do this as well, because they just don't realize the power of a mystery shard. That's the power, and the mystery shards are very strong. Okay. Now, I want to move to ancient shards. These are a little bit more liberal depending on what stage of the game that you're in. So right now, as of recording, because I'm doing this like a couple days before I'm probably going to release the video, there was a Ancient Shard 2X on the weekend that I did pull on. If you've been watching this channel, you saw me. I tried to pull for Edward Kenway. It was a massive bust. One thing that I do want to point out about Ancient Shard 2X events, though, is that if you're within the first 3, maybe 4 months of gameplay, I think it's okay to pull on 2Xs, because at that point, you need more champions. Not specific champions, but you just need a broader roster of better characters. And 2Xs tend to be this time to do it. And ancient shards do come fairly quickly. So you can get a 16% chance of an epic. If you're lucky, you'll get a legendary. But there's lots of amazing epics in this game that can be game changers for you. So don't discount these as well. Some places where you can get ancient shards pretty easily is that you're gonna be able to buy them in the market. So you do every single calendar month, you will start to see ancient shards show up here. If I'm not mistaken, someone's gonna message in the comment down below, and please correct me. It's either 5 or 10 ancient shards. I want to say 5, but it could be 10 that show up in every calendar month in the market. And so you'll start to see them there. Other places that you can get them, they have a 0.5% chance to drop, which is not a lot, but they have a 0.5% chance to drop on any dungeon that you run. You might occasionally see ancient shards drop that way. Of course, the number one place to get all the shards is going to be in your Demon Lord, which is why Demon Lord is the most important place for you to farm your shards from, right? You need to make sure that this is your number one priority in your account to get as far as you possibly can. It is actually possible to get in the Nightmare and Ultra Nightmare range within like 2 months. I made an alt account and I actually cleared Brutal in 2 weeks. I'm not even lying. So a lot of the new starter accounts are very good. The promo codes are strong. Again, right? I'll just show them again. Narma, Tahanarak. These two in combination, especially if you have like Ezio and if you manage to pick up like Xenomorph a month or so ago, those are really good champions that would actually propel you very far very quickly. So that's the number one thing in Raid Shadow Legends is try to scale up your Demon Lord content as fast as you possibly can. I have plenty of videos on my channel that'll help you do that because starting with, it's not a very good drop rate in hard mode at the last chest for hard mode, but you do get an ancient and a void shard. It's super rare. It's like 3%. But starting from Brutal, Nightmare, and Ultra Nightmare, this is where you're going to get the bulk of your shards. Brutal has a fair chance at actually getting ancient and void shards this way, but when it comes to sacred shards, you're mostly going to get these, or well, you're only, at least from Demon Lord, from the final chest in Nightmare and from the final chest in Ultra Nightmare as well. So same with legendary books. So legendary books and sacred shards are only going to come from Nightmare and Ultra Nightmare at the final chest. But even if you can't get there, some of these other chests are still going to give you some pretty good drop rates at ancient and void shards. So those are the easiest things for you to pick up as an early player, right? But a lot of people just kind of blow their shards when they feel like it, and that is a big trap. Whether it's ancient shards, void shards, primal shards, or sacred shards, whatever, right? You got to think, when you get to about, I would say about, definitely by 6 months, when you're 6 months into Raid Shadow Legends, you really you want to think about these shards as event currency. And what do I mean by that? Well, you might have noticed, and actually I'll show you because it's still running right now as of recording, but my Champion Chase tournament, for example, when you run a fusion event, there's always going to be one Champion Chase event and one Summon Rush event. So there's 2 summoning events at least every fusion event. And you're not going to be able to complete the fusion event for that legendary unless you complete both of them at a low level, or I think normally you can just clear the Summon Rush at a high level. And the amount of shards that are required for this, for example, for the Summon Rush, it tends to be around 12 Sacred Shards, or no more than that, or a combination of points. Now, Sacred Shards give you 500 points on a Summon Rush. This is static all the time. Normally, to complete Summon Rush at its fullest would be around 6,000, 6,200 points, something like this, right? So you get 500 from a Sacred Shard, which means you need 12 of these, or a combination of other shards. So Mystery Shards give you only 1. However, like I said, if you stack up enough of these, that you can solely complete that Summon Rush event that I'm talking about with these green newbie shards. And it's actually a really amazing feeling when you do that, because then you don't have to waste any of these other things. But the whole point is that you kind of, if you want to get these guaranteed legendaries, if you want to get these fusion events completed, you need to harness some self-restraint when it comes to pulling. And that can be really hard, right? You can see all sorts of Plarium FOMO tactics to get you to pull your shards, whether it's your ancient shards, your void shards, your primals, or your sacreds. They're going to throw in some characters in these, what's called I don't have them here, so I can't show you, but you've probably seen them. The progressive chances that show up on the screen here in front of the shards, and you get either a 10x for some of the new characters like the Assassin's Creed characters, or you get 15, 20, and 25x depending on how many you summon, right, of the epics or the legendaries. But I do want to tell you that the odds of you getting those specific champions are incredibly rare. I can't kid you enough. Wait, can't be serious enough. That's what I meant to say. Sorry, I screwed that up. So there are so many champions in a sacred shard. There are like 300 legendaries. So the individual chance of you pulling a specific character that you want is incredibly low. There's also a decent chunk of crap characters right in here. So I would never just pull willy-nilly. Even in the beginning, if you're a new player upwards to 3 months, the best time, I said this earlier on with the ancient shards, the best time to pull would be a 2x. That way you can have a higher chance at least to get things like epics on these different shards, right? Sacred start at 6% legendary. If you pull on a 2x on a sacred shard, you would have a 12% chance at a legendary. That's not very good. Even a 2x on a sacred shard is not great. It will give you more epics, yes, but 12% when how rare that these are, right? These are equivalent to about 20 US dollars. In the new player experience, you're not going to get so many of them within the first couple of months. So I would actually save these as a new player still and just use them towards future events. Ancient shards are much more flexible and liberal because you're going to get more of these. Void shards, that's entirely up to you. There are some really great void characters out there, but I kind of use the same kind of philosophy as sacred shards, that they're pretty valuable, and even at a 2x, it is better, right? Because at least 2x on a void, you're going to get a 16% chance of an epic, but it's still only a 1% on a legend. Void and ancient have the same drop rates, but they're less common. So that would be entirely up to you. And primals, I never pull these unless there is a 2x on everything, which is very rare. And what I mean by primal 2x everything, I mean everything is boosted. Epic's boosted, legendary's boosted, mythical's boosted. So you get like a 32% chance for an epic, which is actually pretty nice. 2% legendary and 1% mythical. Otherwise, I wait. There are two nicknames for this game. Wait Shadow Legends and Horde Shadow Legends, because the people who do both of these things are going to do a lot better, right? It's just that's just the way it is, unfortunately. That you want to be prepared for these events. Why do I have 49 sacred shards? Because I'm doing exactly what I preach, is that I only save these for specific events. I do believe that ancient shards are a little bit more flexible, and as a content creator, you are going to see me do more shard summon videos than I would recommend for regular people. And by regular people, I mean more free to play players, right? Especially if you're free to play, you're not going to have as many shards as me, so I would take that with a grain of salt. But free to play players can do perfectly well too. There's plenty of people in my clan who are completing fusion events every single month. But what that does mean, though, is that you might not be able to accomplish every single major event, right? So you will be able to probably, once you get to the point where you're doing Nightmare and Ultra Nightmare on Demon Lord, you will be able to do your fusion event every single month if you want to. However, you might not be able to do, say, Heroes Path events, which also within that same month expect you to use shards. So that is the kind of downside, is that as a free to play, you're going to have to pick and choose what events are meaningful for you and what you want to do the most, but you can get ahead in this game, right? Definitely, like I said before, focus on your Demon Lord first to collect as many shards as you possibly can within a monthly period, or every month. Make sure you're getting as many as you possibly can. Do check out my channel. I have plenty of guides on Clan Boss and Demon Lord, especially, that if you need some help, if you're a new player, definitely go check out my new player playlist guide that I do have on my channel. Other places that you can do to kind of prepare for that as well are like a variety of different events and tournaments, because they will have from time to time have some ancient shards in here that you could actually get, right? I think some of them, maybe it's gone now. There was like a gear enhancement event and stuff like that that will give you different rewards there for shards, but over time you will accumulate these. And then as you're accumulating them, you kind of want to keep in mind the events that are going on, but namely the ones that guarantee you a champion. Because you could pull just willy-nilly all sorts of random shards and get garbage. That's just how this game can be. Right? It's in a way, in a lot of ways, it's a slot machine. Right? You can pull an ancient shard, you can pull a void shard, you can pull a sacred and still get garbage. And that's why you need to really think about these as event currency. That way you can use them towards those guaranteed champion characters that you want the most. For example, it could be Assassin's Creed right now. Previously, there was events for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, And then in the over the winter period, right, there was like a guaranteed. Now this was different because this was Deck of Fates, but just in general, there are guaranteed events that are gonna, well, guarantee you the champion if you complete it, right? So He'll Be the Rhyme Called happened with a Deck of Fates in December. These things happen with path events as well. If I'm not mistaken, there was on the back of the Crocad Throat Ripper Fusion event last year, they had a guaranteed event for Shayak, Packmaster Shayak, so you could get him guaranteed as well with Shards if you wanted to do it that way, with Red Stars, Perfect Souls for Crocad. So there's definitely champions and events that they give out that's not free, right? It's not free, but it's guaranteed. So if you save enough resources that you can then be patient and you will get these characters. It's not as fun as going into the slot machine and letting them rip, but it's random, right? You never know what you're going to get. If you guys watched my Ancient Shard video pulling for Edward Kenway, I got 2 legendaries, yes, but they were garbage, and I don't see me using them in my roster, and that's the problem, is that, you know, you could just pull everything, and you could pull hundreds of dollars worth of shards, but then you could walk away with nothing actually valuable for your roster. Whereas some of these new characters are very powerful, and the guaranteed events will allow you to pick them up if you kind of save your resources appropriately. And that's the main crux of Raid Shadow Legends, honestly, especially from a free-to-play player perspective, is you want to pick your time, right? Pick the time that you want to summon so you can double dip, right? Maybe you're pulling the shards, because you're going to pull the shards anyways as event currency, right? Because you're going to get points for pulling them. So you're going to get those champions eventually from the shards, but you're waiting for a better time to use them so that you can actually get a good champion, a good legendary event champion, you know, on the back of that. That's where you really want to get that good double dip value. And I'm trying to help you guys get there. So some of you might have already known this, you know, for a lot of, you know, veteran players or people who are well experienced, probably already knew everything that I just said in this video. But I hope for everyone else, it kind of makes you think about how you're using your shards and how you could use them a little bit better to get more champions over the course of your gameplay, of course. Anyways, that's going to be me. Now, before we go, I do want to remind people that if you haven't started a new account, or if you want to make an alt account, use the QR code in the top right hand of the screen to get Narma the Retard absolutely free, as well as Allure, Tagore, and Ruella at accounts level 10, 20, and 30. And this amazing Void legendary support champion named Tuhanarok. All you have to do is plug in the promo code Desert Queen in the first 48 hours of a brand new account. All right, everyone, that's it for me, and I will see you guys all on the next video. And if you like this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and you'll be greatly helping out the channel. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys on the next one.